Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to Sports on the Spot. My name is Willie Charger, also known as the Professor, and I'll be joined by Nick James this afternoon. Together, we're going to be giving our views on the sports world. Nick, I wanted to start today's show by talking about baseball, and particularly talking about the San Diego Padres baseball. Unless you've been living in a cave the last few days or been hiking up in the Himalayas, you know that on Saturday, Joe Musgrove became the first Padre pitcher in history to pitch a no-hitter. After 52 years of their existence, the Padres have finally joined the teams of Major League Baseball that have got a no-hitter to their credit. What I found interesting was that Musgrove himself is from El Cajon, which is a suburb of San Diego. He grew up a Padres fan, and to win a no-hitter, pitch a no-hitter for the team that he grew up with is a dream come true for him anyway. So for me, a longtime suffering Padre fan, this win erases all the ghosts of previous failures, finally makes Padre fans forget the curse of Clay Kirby. Clay Kirby, who is this 21-year-old pitcher who came so close to pitching a no-hitter and way back in 1970 when Willie was still in high school. The manager, Preston Gomez, decided that he was tired after 8 innings, and he pinch hit for him with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, with the Padres trailing 1-0. Kirby 3 outs away from a no-hitter. Padre fans have been living with that just for forever, and now it's finally put to rest. Nick, I know you don't follow the Padres that well, but can you give us an outsider's view on this achievement?
Well, I'm a Padres fan. I just don't follow baseball as much as maybe football or basketball. But as you said, you have to be living under a rock to not have heard about it. I definitely heard about it. It's really exciting for the homegrown product to go throw the no-hitter. Really exciting for us fans. This is starting to feel like our year. Last year was a step in the right direction. And as long as Tatis doesn't stay hurt for too long, we have a pretty good lineup hitting and pitching. So I'm really excited to see what we can do in the playoffs this year. Maybe knock off the Dodgers. It would be definitely a step in the right direction if we're starting out with a no-hitter.
Well, right now, it looks like that $250 million payroll that the Dodgers have is paying off with some good dividends. 9 wins in the first 11 games. The Padres have 8 wins. They're a game behind. And of course, the two teams do have a big series coming up this weekend. So that should be very interesting to watch the two contenders match off early in the season. You mentioned Tatis. It's a bummer that he hurt his shoulder. The Padres are having a kind of a wait and see attitude, wait and see approach to his injury. Hopefully they want to avoid surgery on his shoulder, rehab and rest, and get him back in a lineup. I think down the line, this is going to have to be dealt with one way or another. But right now, the Dodgers are really hot. They're hitting home runs. They're getting the pitching. They're going to be really tough to knock off in the National League West, but we'll stay posted there. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the NFL, Nick. There's been a lot of pre-draft maneuvering going on. Can you give us any insights on what's been going on in the NFL lately?
Well, we're hearing word that Jerry Jones is really pushing for Kyle Pitts, the tight end, on his offense, where they got a really high pick. I think that they really need defense, but they just want to put the most points on the field with a healthy Dak Prescott. I mean, they have no problem scoring touchdowns and getting yards. It's really the defense that seems to kind of keep the other teams in the game. But you were mentioning something about the Patriots and an interesting quarterback pick, Willie.
It seems to me that Belichick and the Patriots are really interested in Justin Fields, the quarterback out of Ohio State. They're going to have to move up in the draft to get at Fields because he's, I think, one of the top 3 or 4 picks, quarterbacks coming out of the college this year. And for the Patriots to get him, they're going to have to swing a deal to move up. They're not the only team that obviously wants him, but some people have him ranked higher than Zach Wilson or even Mac Jones. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on in New England. Is that a good move for the Patriots to go after a Justin Fields type of quarterback?
Well, the last time they picked a quarterback in the first round, people seem to kind of forget because it was so long ago, but it was Drew Bledsoe. I think he was the number 1 overall pick. And they didn't need to draft a quarterback that high because they had Tom Brady, the 6th-round miracle, coming in and taking over for Drew. So we'd think, oh, wow, that's so crazy. But Tom Brady was in command for so long. They didn't need to get that. I think maybe they had some 2nd-round picks or 3rd-round picks over the years for developmental picks, but they end up getting traded like Garoppolo or Brissett. But it's interesting to think, yeah, I mean, it's a different kind of play style than Tom Brady, maybe a younger Cam Newton where he's got that running gun kind of mindset. But after seeing the product that Dwayne Haskins put on the field coming from Ohio State, it's hard to feel if it's just maybe a product of their division and the college atmosphere, or if he's really coming to play. He was ranked, like you said, maybe the number 1 overall pick coming in under Trevor Lawrence. So it's going to be interesting. Now, all of a sudden, he's looking like maybe the Patriots could get him at 10. You were mentioning earlier that the Broncos could be in the running for him.
Broncos at number 9. Broncos are picking at number 9, and I don't think it would be a good idea to pass on a Justin Fields if I were at Denver, but I'm not in Denver, so we'll see what happens there. And finally, the Browns went and signed free agent defensive end to Jevon Clowney today to a 1-year deal. Seems like the Browns have made some pretty good moves in the offseason and really strengthened themselves for next year.
Yeah, well, the last couple of years, they've been the free agency champions, and they're getting all these big signings. They got OBJ, who ends up being hurt, and they do better without him. So they're getting all these big name kinds of players. Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to potentially sign with them last year, and he ended up burning them. And now he's going to be a really good complement to Myles Garrett. And it's going to be really interesting to see if they can get that running game going with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and get Baker Mayfield going with some play action passing. That defensive line is going to be out of control. I think they still had Sheldon Richardson. Olivia Vernon, one of those guys. And in addition to the other 2, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, it's going to be out of control. We'll just see if they have that winning mindset or not, Willie.
We'll have to keep our eye on what's going on in Cleveland, but it looks like they're definitely going in the right direction. Several good moves. And now we've reached the part of the show where we have to say goodbye. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us this week. I wanted to remind all of our viewers that you can comment and subscribe and like our show whenever you have time. If you have any questions to ask on the show, you can submit your questions to the Sports on the Spot show at gmail.com, or else just submit your questions in the comment part of our YouTube channel. Otherwise, that's going to be it for today's show. I wanted to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you all next time.
Unbelievable.